I grew up in Kenya, so my family moved from Korea to Kenya when I was 2 years old. And my parents are missionaries, so a lot of the work that they do is like building churches, helping the community. And I loved being part of that community and helping my parents out. When I was younger, I had a wonderful relationship with God. I feel like I had that innocent, pure, very close relationship with God. I felt like I could really talk to him and he would answer my prayers. And he felt like a friend and a father when I was younger. My depression started when I was in high school. I think it started because I was hanging out with the wrong people. The church that I went to wasn't very supportive. Growing up as a missionary kid and a pastor's kid gave me a lot of pressure of needing to look perfect and be perfect. With that pressure, I think I was giving myself a lot of anxiety. I didn't want to talk to people when they reached out to me. I wanted to be alone. I wanted to be more isolated. God to me, when I was going through depression, felt like a wall where someone I would talk to, I would ask and reach out for help, but nothing was coming back. He did not feel like a friend. He felt more like someone who was constantly judging me. My depression put me in a very dark place where I started thinking about suicide. I gave myself a deadline till the end of university, so it'd be 22. I just didn't want to do anything with the world. During high school, I learned about Edmonton and the U of A, and at 18 years old, I moved all the way from Kenya to Edmonton. Being an international student, I think, is a very wild experience. Being here in a whole new country, alone, felt overwhelming because I was a very depressed person. Throughout university, I found myself trying to escape reality. I didn't want to stay awake. I didn't want to stay sober, and I would find different vices that would help me not stay in the real world. Knowing that I wanted to commit suicide, I had a very negative outlook on life. I always thought of it as my escape plan. Any wrongdoing or mistake I would make, I would say, oh, it's fine, I'm gonna commit suicide at this date, so it doesn't really matter. At the lowest points of my depression, I was seeking comfort, and I remembered when I was in elementary school that church was where I loved to be. Church was where I wanted to belong. Out of nowhere, at the university bus stop I would go to all the time, there was a bench with a Celebration Church ad. I looked it up and I thought that would be an amazing place to go. But I felt like I had already stayed away from God for too long for me to go back to church out of nowhere. After I was done with my university degree, I took a quick trip to Korea where all my other family was, and they realized how awful of a state I was in. So it was a solid 2 months of trying to save Yewon and trying to keep her alive. And I think that family time meant a lot to me. I felt like I wanted to live again. After I came back from that trip in Korea, I had my first big girl job and I met my friend. So we started talking and she told me that she'd been praying for someone that she could go to church with. And so I said, oh, that's amazing. I would love to go to church with you. When I first came to Celebration Church, I remember feeling this peace wash over me. Felt like God was telling me that he was really happy that I was here. For a year, I still struggled with feeling guilty that I strayed so far away from God. But in 2024, I started coming to church more regularly, joining more connect groups here at church. I met some wonderful people, and it made me really believe that God wanted a relationship with me and that I was forgiven. Now that I accepted Jesus into my life, I am much more happier. I am so happy to be alive. I'm so excited to be alive. I want to be alive. My relationship with God now, I have more of that friend coming back. I can tell him everything. I don't feel like he's judging me. I want to get baptized now because it's something that has been in my heart for a very long time. It's just that I am now obeying and listening to God. I am now wholeheartedly willing and wanting God to take lead of my life, and I want to have that close, intimate relationship with God.